Hi there, I'm Aussie Villain, and welcome to a Football Manager 2019 experiment. We're fast forwarded 100 years, and we're going to see how the European competitions have gone over those last 100 years. Now, a bit of a spoiler alert here for the Champions League. We can see that Manchester City have won 2 in a row, but let's go and have a quick look at the records. Real Madrid, 24 times, have won it more than anybody else. Highest attendance, Barcelona, 98,000 people. Biggest win, that's an existing record. Highest scoring games, existing records. Most games won in a row, Spurs. Have Spurs won the Champions League? Austria, Vienna, most games lost in a row. Most games without losing is Liverpool. That's a new record. Liverpool, 30 games without losing. They've almost, they could have lost on penalties, but probably a couple of wins there for Liverpool as well. Marseille, most games without winning. They have not been good in Europe, but obviously to get that many games, it's over about 20 years, so maybe they've sort of been irregular qualifiers. Most games without scoring, Panathinaikos. Most team goals, Manchester City, 38 in the 60s. And Israeli club there with most conceded. Cristiano Ronaldo, that record, his record of 17 in the season still stands. That stood the test of time. Most games in a match in a goal. Try that again. Most goals in a match. Messi's 5 against Bayer Leverkusen. That still stands. Now, can we click on these guys? What do we get when we click on these guys? No, so Ronaldo just retired and didn't do anything. Messi retired and didn't do anything. Fair enough. I thought one of them would have gone into management. Youngest player is Bobrovsky. So that's in the 80s. He was a 15-year-old when he made his Champions League debut. Oldest player, it's a Lazio player. That's already happened. That must have almost certainly been. I think he was, wasn't he? Bellato, was he a goalkeeper? I'm pretty sure he was. Fastest goal, 9 seconds in 2020. Youngest goal scorer, Inga Smith for Liverpool, I'm assuming, of German heritage perhaps. He was 16 years and 67. If he was 16 days when he scored a goal, he's doing really well. Oldest goal scorer is Mandzukic so in 2024, Mandzukic, and that record stood. So well done him. Let's go and have a look at the winners now. Manchester City have won 2 in a row, beating Atletico and Real Madrid in the final, or Spanish final there. Sevilla. Am I at the top? I am at the top. Liverpool beat Bayer Munich. City beat Liverpool, Real Madrid beat United, Barcelona beat City, City beat Real Madrid beat Liverpool. There's Leicester City, look at this. Leicester City have won it twice, and then they've won it 3 times in 4 years. Leeds United made a Champions League final. Paris, so they do finally win one, Paris. City have beaten Arsenal. So, look at that for Arsenal. Arsenal have won a few as well. English clubs dominating now. You wonder if that's sort of a sign of things to come here. Another one for Leicester City. Another 2, 3. Leicester City have won the Champions League. What's that? 2, 4, about, what's that? 5 or 6 times. Well done. There were a couple of finals in here as well. Real Madrid, another couple for Liverpool. Real Madrid again. Monaco beaten by Barcelona in a final. Leicester City. Monaco have won 1. Arsenal. Leicester City again. Paris. Liverpool beating City. Dortmund beating Arsenal, Arsenal beating Real Madrid, Leicester City again beating Barcelona, City beating Leicester. Leicester City, now if you haven't seen the one we did in the Premier League, go and check that out. And Leicester City were very much a surprise packet in that. I did not think that it makes sense if you're winning the Premier League, you're going to be a chance in the Champions League. It just didn't dawn on me, but they have been quite look at that, 3 finals in a row Dortmund have lost. They are very much a bridesmaid, aren't they? Anything else here of note? Another final for Leicester City. Tottenham have won the Champions League. Well done to them. Tottenham have won it twice. Chelsea have won it again. Chelsea have won it a few times. Look at that. Now, another surprising thing when we did the Premier League, Chelsea a little bit of a yo-yo club in latter years, the later part of our 100 years. So, look at that. City. Wow, 4 in a row for Manchester City. 5 in 6 years. Another final after that as well. Manchester City. There's a chance this could happen in real life, isn't there? Tottenham, 3 in 4 years as well. Chelsea, 3 finals lost in a row. Heartbreaking stuff for them. Another one for Spurs. Look at this. Tottenham and Manchester City just sharing the Champions League between them for the best part of 20 years there. Real Madrid chipping in with 1. But English football, it's fair to say, does pretty well in Europe over the next 100 years. Now, how much of that is money? It's probably quite a chunk, isn't it? But it's pretty much, it's English clubs, it's Borussia Dortmund, it's Bayer Leverkusen, it's Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Barcelona, isn't it? That's pretty much all it is. Inter Milan chipped in with 1 there. This current season, Inter Milan will win the Champions League. I'm not sure about that. They do have a decent team, though. I think they could be a bit of a dark horse, but I don't think they're going to win it. But there we go. English football. and more specifically Manchester City and Tottenham. That surprises me a little bit. Spurs didn't really feature in the Premier League winners champions that often, but Leicester City as well. So that's the Champions League. Let's see now. Let's go and have a look at the Europa League. So again, a little bit of a spoiler alert. We can see Leicester City, English football, looks like they're dominating this as well. Let's go and have a look at the records. Tours. That's what happens when you say Tottenham and Spurs and sort of switch halfway through. Tottenham, 11 times winners of this competition. So that's to go with their Champions League titles. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. They've won most games in a row. Their biggest win, St Mirren, absolutely pounding AB. So it's from Faroe Islands, I think, in the 60s. 15-0. Well done, St Mirren. Anything else there of note? Falcao's goal scoring record maintains or stays the time. It's the history. It's still the record, basically. Is what I'm trying to stay there. Tom Heaton, most clean sheets for Burnley. Youngest player is a 15-year-old, almost, look at that, only just 15, too, Russian kid in the last few seasons there. Brad Friedel, he's still the oldest player. Fastest goal was scored by Marcus Acuna in just a couple of seasons' time in real life there, 2019. Youngest goal scorer was another Russian. They love them young in Russia, don't they? And the oldest goal scorer was Pata. Now, he's a current player, isn't he? No, he's not, because it happened in the 70s. And let's go and have a look at the past winners here. Leicester City, Bayer Leverkusen have lost 2 finals in a row. Basel made a final. Bournemouth made a final. Lost to Inter Milan. United, Leicester, Spartak Moscow have won it there as well. 2 from Atletico Madrid. Look at that. The Croatian club, Rijeka, I think. I'm not quite sure how you say that. But they beat Basel in the final. They've made 2 finals in a row. That must have been imagine that in youth intake must have been insane, wouldn't it? That they've got a couple of good seasons out of them before they've, I'm sure, moved on. Cardiff City beating Juventus in a final. Now Juventus, we didn't see them in the Champions League, did we? Benfica, they did eventually break that curse. They finally won a European final. Standard in a final as well. Leeds with another European final. Bayer in Paris Saint-Germain. Bayer Leverkusen do actually win one. That's not just always the bridesmaids. Basel have won one as well. Milan Milan derby in the final. That'd be tasty. Dynamo Kiev have won it. Spurs, Milan, Everton, Porto, Manchester City, Ajax, Napoli. There's a few surprise winners. Spartak Moscow again. Salzburg in a final. Juventus in a final. So Juventus, European football-wise, they've struggled, haven't they? They have not done too well. Another one for Bayer Leverkusen there. Benfica losing another final. Wolves losing a couple of finals. Heartbreak for them. Look at that. They've lost 3 in 4 years. Poor Wolverhampton. Oh, they've lost another one there. Ever the bridesmaids, Wolverhampton. Oh, Merseyside derby in the Europa League final. That would have been tasty, wouldn't it? And over in Germany as well. Ajax have won one. Leicester again. Another final defeat. So, okay, so let's see here. Where did Benfica eventually win one up here? They won it in 21-01. Was that their first European final win? And if so, they have waited almost 200 years. We'll just keep an eye on that. There is a curse. There's supposed to be a curse on Benfica that they won't ever win a European final. Watford making a European final. So Juventus, here we go. So Juventus have won a few in more recent times. Another loss for Benfica in a final. Another loss for Benfica in a final. English clubs just dominating, aren't they? That's what's that? That is Real Sociedad, I think, isn't it? Fiorentina, that's good. I like Fiorentina. Roma losing a couple of fights. Oh, there we go. So they did actually win it before that, because that would have been absolute heartbreak for them otherwise. So this current Europa League season, Milan beating Arsenal in the final. Now, when I did my Arsenal save, no, that was a group, wasn't it? We were in the same group, but I did say in that save when we drew the group that if that was the final, you'd say fair enough. And here we go. In this scenario, it is actually the final. Torino making a final too. Good for them. But there we go. That is how European football on the club level plays out over the next 100 years. If you have enjoyed that, please do hit like. And if you're new, subscribe, ring the bell so you see when I upload new videos. And like I say, I'm willing to take requests on clubs. So if you want to see how a club's been doing over the past 100 years, let me know either in the comments or at AussieVillain on Twitter, and I can definitely do that for you. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.